Welcome back to the Founders Desk. Today we are here with Greg Walsh from G&G, the Goosebumps Company, one of South Africa's leading experiential marketing companies. Welcome, Greg. So happy to have you here today.
Nice, comfy chair. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's have some fun today, everyone. Greg, tell us a little bit about G&G, the Goosebumps Company, your background, how you started, a little bit about your story before we get into some of the nitty-gritty that we want to talk about today.
I've been in events a very long time. It was something that started in my first year of university at UCT.
Yes.
I met Gareth Cliff, and no stranger to podcasting, and he invited me to go to an under 18 party of all things one evening, which I didn't fully understand. He's like, no, just come, it'll be fun. I'm DJing and then we'll go out and we'll have a jolt with some friends afterwards. And I stood backstage with Gareth DeVore, who ended up becoming my business partner of 19 years.
Wow.
He had already started the business. They had already started Plet Rage. And I mean, more than anything, I just met a cool guy. He drove a GTI. He owned 11 apartments at 21 years old.
Did you even know what you wanted to do after school?
Yes. I knew. I was studying business science, finance CA. I wanted to be either an investment banker or a chartered accountant. I was absolutely firm in that decision.
Wow.
And this whole thing it didn't rock my boat yet. I saw all of these bits as a means to an end. I needed to earn money at university. I was waitering. I had a little quiz business, running quizzes in pubs. And
we've all had our stories with our
totally
side hustles there.
And I met Gareth and started helping running the door at Fez on a Thursday and All Bar None and Rhodes House.
Now you're making me feel old.
I'm sorry. All those clubs closed more than 20 years ago.
Yes.
And, that was my start into it. And I kicked it at the end of university.
So you finished your studies?
I finished my studies.
Okay.
I applied for jobs and I sort of put it to the world. I was like, either I'm going to do my postgrad accounting or I'm going to go and get a job in investment banking. And no part of my brain said, maybe I'll go back into events. So I got a job at ABSA Capital. And the reason I took it is because Barclays had just bought ABSA and they sent us to the UK for our training. And I ended up in the UK for 18 months, working as an investment banker, wearing my suit.
Maybe we were there at the same time. I was also there, but I was waitressing.
Okay. Well, maybe I came and got a drink from you. So, that was an amazing patch. But my old partners kept baiting me to help out because we'd started the stuff in KZN, Belito and Mshlanga, Matric Rage. We'd started the Belito New Year's party. And I'm so glad that they did keep baiting me to come back because December 2007, I'm a banker and I made more money on New Year's Eve.
Wow.
By a factor of 3 than I'd made in the bank that year.
Wow.
And there was a lot of preparation, met luck. There was a whole lot of stars that aligned there. But that gave me the confidence to say, okay, actually, there is potentially a career here. My parents weren't convinced. They were like, listen, you've also got an incredible career in banking.
Absolutely.
But I took the leap. And I mean, the story between then, January 2008, and it's coming up, I say it's been 24 years. It's been 24 years since I was a student, but it's been nearly 20 years since it became a full-time career. And that's been an extraordinary ride.
But they obviously saw something in you to keep wanting you to come back.
I think that entire industry at the time of Joel organizers, let me frame it as that, because these were not businesses.
Gen Zs, do you know what Joel?
Yeah. Joel organizers was ex-bouncers and thugs, not all, or some cool kid from Cape Town, typically without degrees. And I think that I brought a different polish. I understood, I'd got a top university degree. I had worked in investment banking for 18 months. So I had a strategic edge.
Yeah, and you came with a whole new set of skills.
Totally, which is why Gen Zers, don't give up your studies. I know every YouTuber and grammer tells you and TikToker that you can just scrap your studies and don't worry about it. Dive into your own business. You can dive into your own business, but finish your studies.
Absolutely.
Because it does give you a different foundation. You spend 4 years or 5 years with other clever people, the top 1% in society. You learn from each other.
And you have different types of conversations. So it's,
you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, all students think that they're politicians too. But again, all of that stuff grounds you, it builds you. You learn about politics, you discuss economics. And I feel like that gives you a strategic advantage in business, in your own even very small company.
Absolutely. So looking back, when you got into it and you started G&G, what problem were you actually trying to solve?
I don't think we were necessarily trying to solve a problem. I think we were just trying to be cool.
Simple
And
as
maybe
that.
that was a problem in itself, trying to solve not being cool.
Yes.
So there was no, and sometimes I think businesses start very intentionally with, I'm going to go and find a product, the product's going to solve a problem.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily my whole start. My start was more about, this is just fun, this is cool, there's some money to be made. Look at this guy that's bought an apartment and he's bought another apartment and I could do that too. I think, as I've grown in the business, now we've put processes and procedures and visions and missions and values in place, and we know exactly what problems we're solving. But when we started, I don't think I had that natural entrepreneurial mindset of
very
see
interesting
problem,
that,
solve problem.
yes, and build a business around solving a customer's problem. Yeah. Very interesting that. So when people hear event company, if that's how we should phrase it, they think to a point logistics. Am I right? Am I wrong? You've built something much bigger than that. So how do you define the business you're really in?
We're in the business of giving people goosebumps. At the very core of it, we set out every day to give every stakeholder goosebumps as their final takeaway of engaging with us. So that is guests that come to our festivals. I want you to stand in front of a stage or bite into an item of food or have a serendipitous moment with the performer in the playground and feel goosebumps. I want the brands that partner with us to go, that was extraordinary. That wasn't like partnering with another event. These guys understood my business. They helped deep dive. They helped us solve real problems. We want them to have goosebumps. And we want our supply chain and artists to come and perform to have goosebumps as well.
So what do you do? Don't give away your trade secrets, but what do you do to create that goosebump element that is that differentiating USP from other events or other experiential activations that people want to partner with you and customers or guests want to come to the event? What is that goosebump?
I think if you talk to my team, they'll tell you that I'm relentless. And I think many founders are in their pursuit of what they're trying to achieve. I am relentless in giving people the best possible experience, relentless. And we go after it in lots of different ways. We create incredible show moments off our stages. We call them our signature goosebump moments, where we spend months pre-producing voice, script writing, voice goes with audio into music design, that goes into designing all the visuals for stages.
The logistics behind it.
Totally, that gets choreographed to pyrotechnics. That's the obvious piece, but there's many not obvious pieces. How do you experience bathrooms? What happens to you as a brand in your weekly status meeting with us? Do we hold it? Do we carry it? Do we lead it in a way that you've never been held before by another event? Most events will just come and have a transactional relationship with a brand.
Absolutely.
You give me money, you come put your banners up.
That's it.
Cool. That's not what we do as a business. So I think it's just this relentless pursuit of what we've set out to achieve and continue to try and achieve.
Would you say that these are the business decisions that have allowed you to stay relevant while so many competitors have either disappeared or aren't getting enough guests or traction or would that be what's happened?
Definitely. I think that relentless pursuit helps a lot. I think I've also, sometimes Gary Player says where success happens where preparation meets luck. And I love that saying.
Absolutely.
And it's so true. I also had a little bit of luck. And I've found my mojo really again the last 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
We had built a business. It was a great business up to 2019. It got effectively completely destroyed by the pandemic. We went down from 30 staff to 3 on half salaries. It was total devastation. Everything I'd built personally, financially, gone. And coming out of that was very difficult. But I've got such a clear lens now in terms of what do certain sectors of South Africans want. I'm no longer trying to create events necessarily for everyone.
Yeah.
We are really focusing on the luxury premium sector in South Africa.
You've got your niche.
Totally. And through different genres. So it's luxury, youth, we've got stuff coming in wellness and automotive.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be the coolest promoter kid anymore. I'm trying to go after things that I'm passionate about. We just launched that Magical Marble Family Festival.
Yes.
I've got kids, so that's a new passion for me.
So,
but I've understood I'm doing it all within the box of giving South Africans who can afford it, who've got the appetite to be entertained, something extraordinary. And I'm finding that is taking my business and myself on a wave that's going up in a climate where I keep hearing that everyone else is battling.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
that's quite special.
But just going back a step to touch on COVID at that time, don't want to harp too much on it, but obviously, especially in the industry that you're in and the unknown, the not knowing what is happening in the next day, month, year, how did you actually get through that?
You need time for this
Yeah.
question.
Okay. Sorry, then we
This-
will. You can carry on a little bit.
Yeah, it's the answer's just not pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm a tenacious person, and a couple of bits that I did before COVID that helped me.
Okay.
I had bought rental properties. I had
Okay.
financial market investments. If I hadn't had those things, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would have gone because I would have had nothing to sell to keep going.
Yeah.
And you build assets for your financial freedom in your future.
Yeah.
You also build them as security.
Yeah.
I had to cash all mine as security.
Yeah.
So that was one bit that helped. But I can't tell you that every day wasn't panic. Every day was panic. Every day was catastrophizing in my brain. Every day was living in fight or flight
Yeah.
mode. There was no understanding, or no one could tell you and say, in 3 months' time, you can reopen your business.
You just didn't have a timeline, but it's that resilient or level of resilience when you see on the other side coming out of it, thank God, how you actually got through each day or each month and the level of success it is now. So,
and someone very, very close friend of mine who I've almost grown up with, and I'm very close to her dad. Her dad sat me down one afternoon in Plet and he said, Greg, maybe it's time to hang up the boots.
wow.
He said, rugby players, they have a career, they
Yeah.
reach the end, they hang
Yeah.
up the boots and they go on to something fresh.
Yeah.
He said, you're a smart guy, you'll be successful in something else. It was just the fuel I needed.
Hectic. Wow. Well, I suppose we could continue talking about that, but we are going to take a very short break and we'll be back soon. Welcome back to the Founders Desk. I'm Tami Ruschin, and today we are here with Greg Walsh from G&G, the Goosebumps Company. We are having such a fantastic conversation, all things experiential, events, leadership, founder-focused, scaling businesses. Greg, tell us a little bit about what the hardest scaling challenges have been for you so far.
If I go pre-COVID, I didn't put proper processes in place and proper structures.
Yeah.
And so we were building a business because we knew roughly how to build brands and how to create demand, but then we were not building the foundation underneath the house. So the house kept collapsing onto itself.
We all learn our lesson there very quickly.
At about 50 or 60 million rand turnover. It would just keep collapsing on itself.
Wow.
And we just couldn't really grow much from there. Post-COVID, I've taken some mentorship. So mentorship, I recommend
Absolutely.
it. But not like a coffee once a week, like proper structured mentorship. And having a mentor who helped me structure the processes and procedures into the business. Our business is now a library of documentation. Every single role has a role concord, which is 30 to 40 pages.
Wow.
Every role has a job description, job adverts ready to go. Every person understands their place in the business. We've got clearly articulated values, a clearly articulated vision, and a clearly articulated purpose. That we have an internal platform that people can actually run their own quizzes on what those different things are. So we're like relentless about the building blocks of business. We don't write something pretty on a wall that customers might read in the reception. We revisit it every Monday in our Monday check-ins. We have a quarterly gold meeting where the whole company comes together. So we're very intentional now about building the foundational pieces of the business.
Are you still building?
Every day. So we basically put together what we call strategic objectives. And every quarter, I've got 6 departments in the business.
Wow.
Those departments each have team members. They've each got an HOD.
Yeah.
And every quarter, every department has got strategic objectives. And a lot of those strategic objectives are the stuff that is building the business. So it's not just up to me, the founder, to build the business.
Yeah.
It's for me to set the vision of what it is we need to build.
And you empower them.
Work with the team to decide, well, if we're going to build the building like that, can you tell me what your wing would need to look like to hold that up? They then come back and say, we'd need to build these things. That could be websites. It could be a process. It could be software. It could be people they need to hire. But we don't just go and hire the people. Then we've got to go and build the role concords for those roles, set the remuneration guidelines, and then go and hire those people. So I'm building a really cool, funky entertainment business with very corporate ideologies.
Let's use that, entertainment. And tell me something with the individuals that or people that work in the business, like in our business, we know we've got our senior account managers, very, the roles that, one would expect in agency. What sort of roles do you look for, or how are the business division structured?
I think all businesses are the same in a way. What are our departments? They're marketing, they're sales, they're finance,
Okay.
HR, operations distribution, and legacy. So, those departments sound like the departments of any business. It's just
True.
how you apply them.
Correct.
So what is our operations department doing? Designing, procurement, and building fantastic festivals.
Yes.
The marketing department is marketing festivals and also trying to get a lens that we're marketing so brands find us attractive. Sales team, we don't actually call it the sales department, we call it brand partnerships.
Yes.
They're out pitching sponsorships with brands, which we don't call sponsorships. We call them partnerships because
Absolutely.
that's how we treat them. That team has got an HOD, a person in sales, 3 key account managers. We're busy looking for more now.
Okay, so
actually, when you look at it, the structure is very similar.
Same structure.
I think it's about how you give people purpose within their role, how you measure them, how you inspire them to create, and how they can see growth in their own career path.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that, how do you balance the creative ambition and commercial reality with clients, with guests, audiences, artists, and those different aspects, the creative ambition and the commercial?
My lens is I want the commercial to give me the money that I need for the creative, because
Okay.
I didn't realize I was creative. At school, I got 1A for art. And I totally missed that I might be creative when I got 1A and it was for art. So
And then he went to finance.
I thought maths and finance brain. So I am very creative. I love creating. The things that I want to create are always one reach beyond the budgets that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where this drive to go, risk it, go for it,
Yes.
invest the money will follow great ideas. I talk about Marble. Marble are our partners in these amazing festivals. And Marble Johannesburg, when it opened, put in a 6 million rand void sound system. No restaurant had ever done that.
Absolutely.
And I go to that story all the time because I love that story. And the story is people heard about it. Not only did they hear it, they saw it. It was like art on the walls. They told friends about it. Friends came to see it. Because if you're willing to invest 6 million rand in a sound system,
Sure.
it tells you what type of approach you've taken to everything in that business.
Yeah.
And I've recognized now that South Africans, particularly Joburgers, love that.
Yeah.
They love stories of ambition and going for it and risking it.
That aspiration
And it's
aspect.
aspirational. So I've applied that same thinking to how we craft events, festivals, experiences, even how we go and pitch to brands. We went and asked a bank for an extraordinary amount of money recently, and I felt quite uncomfortable doing it. It's a big number, but it's an incredible...
Kind of sweating when you're walking.
No, exactly. It's an incredible concept, and the concept is massively ambitious, and I think it would be game-changing for them as a business. So why not? And I think
So on that, actually, if you had to explain the ROI of entertainment, experiential marketing to the bank, for instance, or CFO rather than a CMO, slightly different mindsets, even though you have that financial aspect, what metrics would you use from an ROI perspective?
let me come to the metrics and start one step back. The first thing that I want to say to a brand, you're a top CMO right now sitting in this chair, Tami, and
CEO.
top CEO. No, but now for this purpose, you're a CMO.
Oh, got you.
Okay, for the purpose of this exercise, you're top CMO. You've got a huge billboard campaign. How do you measure those billboards? Okay, how much product did you sell
I'm
at those
silent.
billboards?
Yeah.
You had a huge radio campaign. It was
Correct.
fantastic. Most people heard it, but how did you measure the return on those radio ads?
Correct. We
The
have these
billboard-
arguments every day.
The billboard and radio companies told you they're worth X.
Correct.
So we've got a little bit of the same in our business. We've got a whole methodology of valuations of saying, one, we've got the stuff that we do that's similar to that, where someone gives us a value. We get billboard values, we do digital out of home, we do radio, we've got TV campaigns, we've got huge digital campaigns. Those things, we've all got measurable
You
numbers.
left out creator marketing.
Yes, we've got lots of creator marketing. We do have lots. So but that one's harder to put an exact number on. So all
We'll
of those
chat.
all of those things, third parties give us the value.
Yeah.
Okay, so we show the brands their value.
Yeah.
PR, same. We do big PR campaigns. We get a PR AVE from that.
Yeah.
Then you get into all the hard to value stuff. And to me, this stuff is worth so much more
Agreed.
than all the other stuff.
Agreed.
When we work with creators and we did a beautiful video with Shikana getting into one of our branded pink Mercedes Benzes or after eating a piece of sushi, and that Mercedes took off and flew. That video got a couple of million views.
Yeah.
What's that worth to Mercedes Benz? I can't tell. Well, it's worth this much.
Exactly.
What is the value of 14,000 people over a weekend coming and spending high value quality time with you at your incredible activation stand, which we've really forced you to build in the feeling and feature of the festival? I want brands to show up, and if I took your logo off, it should feel like it was meant to be there.
Correct.
When you build like that and you give people an appropriate experience for the environment, they'll love it, they'll stay, they'll sit, they'll enjoy. They'll take something away of your brand. What's the value of that? We're actually building a model at the moment, and Uncle Claude is helping us.
Yes.
Because who knows how to value this stuff in
Yeah.
reality, but we're trying to find a way to value this stuff, this soft touch moments when someone spends 15 minutes with you as a brand and maybe gets some takeaway information about being able to purchase afterwards. That to me is far more valuable than any of the ATL media.
I mean, we have these discussions every single day, and we always say in the office, for us, it's like we're selling air, and how do you measure that? But it's somebody now, or customers wanting or anticipating the next and waiting for that, when's the next experience? When's the next, G&G event happening? Things like that. When you try and explain, even to some CMOs, it's very difficult because they want those tangibles, but it's that emotional aspect that you're taking, out of the experience. So on that, have you ever turned down a major sponsor because they just weren't the right, or partner, should I say? They weren't the right fit. You didn't feel that connection. It wasn't going to work.
I think in the South African context, it's starting to reverse now. We're starting to get a lot of brands approaching us.
Brilliant,
now,
yes.
That's very rare in the
Very.
South African market in sponsorships. Typically, you're out singing for your supper
Yes.
5 days a week from
Yes.
sunrise to sunset. So if I could look historically, not really, because we were going after brands. I've ended relationships where the values weren't aligned. And not because the brand wasn't appropriate for the space, because we couldn't work with the people anymore.
Yeah.
They had no respect in terms of paying us on time. They had no respect in terms of replying to our emails or our phone calls or messages. And why must I work with somebody like that?
Absolutely.
Having said that, we were in a time where we needed the brands way more than they needed us.
Yeah.
And that is a very unhealthy relationship. And it is the lived reality of 95% of marketing experiential businesses,
Absolutely.
events businesses, agencies. Corporates treat them like dirt, and they take it because they need them. Now, I think we're getting into a point where I don't want to use the word arrogance, I want to use the word confidence, where we've got the confidence to say, we don't want to work with you, we'd rather work with you. If a brand is really not respecting our principles, and I feel we've got wonderful principles, we've got good values. So if you can't respect our good values, then why am I going to continue to work with you?
But you've spent so much time building your reputation.
Yes.
And I think it really boils down to that. And then you get into a position where you can say, well, that isn't going to align. Greg, we're going to take a very short break. So much to discuss, actually, but we'll be back soon. Welcome back to the Founders Desk. I'm Tami Ruschin, and we are here having a fantastic conversation with Greg Walsh. Can I say just from the Goosebumps Company?
As you wish.
Amazing. Greg, I'm going to jump straight into the next thing that I really do want to pick your brain on is your business depends on understanding people at an emotional level. So how do you predict, if you can, predict what audiences will care about before they even know it themselves?
You can't.
Okay.
You can't. You can't predict what people want. Any person who's developed a great product who tells you, I just knew, absolute liar.
Are there any signals?
I think you do trial and error of a lot of different things as you go. If I think about, coming back after COVID, like people had changed. They'd been at home for 2 years. Like a lot had
Different
changed.
mentality, mindset.
We had really low interest. Now we had really high interest again. So people had been outlandish spending. Now they were all being tight spending. So there's so many factors involved in how people behave. And, I think when we launched the Luxurious Marble Circus, major aha moment for me, like, oh wait, I found something people really love.
Yeah.
Now I've got a very clear idea of how to double down, triple down, quadruple down, launch new products off the back of that market and giving them
And
experiences in
that audience.
different genres
Got you.
that they will also love. So, I think you find it over time. I think every great idea is a great idea. Every great idea not acted on is toilet paper.
Absolutely.
Every great idea acted on sometimes doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But
what did you
I
learn?
think when you find that you've got your boat and there's a bit of wind in the sails, then suddenly you can go, okay, more of that.
Yes.
And then you start to find what people want. I think, what do people want? I think we live unbelievably ridiculous lives since the onset of the mobile phone and the internet. I think we staring at our devices all day. I think our cortisol levels are running at 18,000 RPM.
Absolutely.
I think we split, especially people with parents, people with kids, like you spinning between trying to be a great parent, trying to be a good friend, trying to be a good partner, trying to run a business, there's so much you're trying to balance. And then you're also giving 4 hours of your day to a device.
Yeah.
At least.
Probably
5 hours and 36 minutes a day to your device. So I think when we create, we're trying to give people a complete escape from that. I talk about this idea of like dissolving into the euphoria of now. I want people to actually, I know it's advantageous to us for them to all put their phones up and then post it.
Yeah.
But I actually want them more than anything to put their phones down.
And be in the moment.
And breathe in and be in the moment and just live and be overwhelmed. You cannot be overwhelmed. You will never, when you film a moment happening on a stage that is taking your breath away, you are diluting your experience in that moment. When you go and show it to your mates, they'll be like, oh, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because you cannot replicate what it is like to be there. So take 1 or 2 videos so you've got it. Put them away and just enjoy
and
it.
experience it. And I think you've actually touched on the next thing that I wanted to ask, but that was more in terms of younger audiences, but it does depend on, the type of people that you are targeting in terms of what keeps the experience culturally relevant in the age of TikTok, in the age of AI, in the age of YouTube, etc. But I think you have touched on that, unless there's anything else you want to add.
I think, I'm not going to say my age because it's the same as yours, and then we'll be giving that away. But I think when you get a bit older, you can't pretend that you know everything about young people. You don't. I think that's an arrogant statement to think that you do. We employ amazing young people who I think have a much better handle on teaching me about what is going on. I learn new words every day that make no sense to me. I understand styles. I watch clothing styles. We would watch clothing fashion change over 7 to 10 years. It now changes every 12 months in young people. So for me, it's about putting the right people who can understand it, who can teach me. Having said that, I still believe when it comes to it, I still always say if we go left or right, because I have the intuition and the experience of 24 years of Rage Festival.
Correct.
And I don't care how cool you are at 21 working for us, you don't.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's the difference. So I listen and I absorb and I hear, and then I still say, we're going to push in this direction. And I'm not always right, but it's mine to lose. So
absolutely,
that's the decisions
there's something to learn from both sides all the time, and then making that decision, which is the correct way to go. But now I'm interested to know, from a South African perspective, are we producing uniquely African model of experiences, or are we still borrowing from global? What do you monitor from a global level?
Mixy-matchy.
Okay.
So if I think about a great example is the Luxurious Marble Circus.
Yes.
So has that been inspired by my learning, traveling the world and going to festivals? Of course. I see things all the time overseas, and it's very hard for us to compete.
Yeah.
You're talking about audiences 5 to 30 times the size, happy to spend 3 to 10 times the ticket price.
Yes.
It's very hard to compete when you see what looks like Disneyland for adults on a screen. But we can take good bits of it that will help us locally. But then I feel like the content that we're creating locally is really South African.
Absolutely.
It's all South African musicians. It's all South African food. We haven't got a single international specialist working on any one of our shows. Every single piece that you see, from the pyrotechnic choreography to the script writing to everything, is written by local people of mixed demographic, of mixed ages, of mixed backgrounds. And I think that gives us something really special. And what I'm really chasing, and particularly now with the Luxurious Marble Circus, because it is the biggest festival from a brand perspective in our stable, I see all day, because my algorithm feeds me, these influencers telling you what's the top 5 festivals to go to globally, and I hear Tomorrowland and Lollapalooza and Sundance Festival and Glastonbury, and the next goal is that we start popping up on those lists all the time, because I want people to come to South Africa for our festival.
Yes.
I get asked all the time, are you going to take this festival overseas?
But
Are you going to take it to Europe or Dubai? That's an obvious thing to do, but I'm far more interested in going, can we get, firstly, Cape Townians out of Cape Town, because that's tough. It's hard to leave Cape Town for you Cape Townians, I know.
Try it one day.
Yes. Only to go to the south of France. But if you come and try Joburg, you'll like it. But, get Cape Townians to come, but also to really start to build an international audience.
Yes.
We're talking to SA Tourism about going on road shows with them.
Amazing.
Because I want to see people coming to South Africa with the festival as the reason, and then creating an experience, which we'll get involved in helping as well.
Unbelievable.
And I think that would be an amazing story to leave as a legacy.
Amazing. So if you were building G&G from scratch in 2026, what would you do completely different or the same?
Well, I'd go and do something far less risky. Go into trading, or I don't know, financial services, or something where I could work inside, where the weather could do whatever it wanted and I would be totally unaffected by it, where it didn't matter if my thing was trendy or not, because hey, people needed. I would be in like commodities or food or something rational.
Plumbing, maybe.
Plumbing, services, electricians. I'm going to have a huge electrical or plumbing business. No, that's I joke. I love events, but you need a certain kind of insanity to get into what I do, because
absolutely
you are on a knife edge of catastrophic risk at every moment of every day, and I don't actually recommend it unless you know that you simply can't do anything else.
Wow, it must be the craziest roller coaster on a minute by minute basis, and especially never mind the planning the day of. That's any crazy story you can tell us before we end off that's happened on the day of an event or prior.
There's so many.
Did a stage collapse?
Yes, stage just collapsed. New Year's Eve 2012.
Okay.
We did, it was called Live City Link Up. We brought Pete Tong from the UK.
Yeah.
And the idea was that he'd play in Belito with a live broadcast to Cape Town of his set, and then he'd prepare a second set. We'd jump on the private jet with him, because I grabbed that right. We'd fly to Cape Town, 1 a.m. on stage, and we'd broadcast that set back to Belito. So what an unbelievable experience we put together. Belito was raining relentlessly. And I had Gareth in Cape Town at the time telling me how their weather was worse. I'm like, well, you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's so much worse here. I'm drenched. I'm standing in water up to my ankles, but health and safety back then wasn't as sophisticated.
Yes.
We just carried on. We had 11,000 people at that street party. And Pete did his set. We rushed down to Virginia Airport, had a beautiful 8-seater Hawker aircraft on the tarmac waiting, champagne on board, snacks. And as we got onto the taxiway, before we turned onto the runway to take off, I got a message from Gareth to say, it's over, it's cancelled. And with nothing more to message about, that's all I got, no further information. And we rolled down the runway and took off into the air. And what had happened was the wind in Cape Town had gone to 150, 160k gusts. It had taken full bar fridges full of stock.
I actually feel sick.
Blown them 50 meters down the concrete and knocked them over. Our stage, the whole LED screen collapsed. No one had been inside we had never opened. So that was... that was probably the wildest one night. I've got 100 stories.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Okay.
That's probably the worst Armageddon moment.
Literally.
And also that plane ride. Like, what was meant to be my first ride in a private jet. It's like champagne, Pete Tong. Like, what a vibe we were going to have. We brought a Bluetooth speaker. And we ended up sitting there with him, not understanding why he wasn't going to perform in Cape Town, really quite irritable.
Yeah.
And us starting to mentally calculate, what does this mean? Because, we had 8,500 tickets sold. We had a few million rand in sponsorship that probably had to go back.
Yes.
Like, that penny was dropping while sipping a glass of ice cold champagne and not celebrating. Enjoying the flight.
My goodness, Greg. Wow. Okay. Let's end off on a fantastic note.
On that catastrophic note.
Yes. Is there anything in particular that you would want to leave our audience with today? We've discussed a lot, so many insights. I could chat to you for hours. Anything in particular you'd like to leave with our audience?
I think so. Life is difficult. Building businesses is difficult. Giving up is potentially the easier road. But if you give up now, you've got nothing later. And I always say on the other side of your greatest fears and your greatest challenges lie your greatest rewards and upsides. So if I could leave everyone with that, I've had a very tenacious journey. I've never given up. I've gone to awful places that I don't wish on any business owner. But here I am again, and the world rotates. This too shall pass.
Absolutely.
And try and keep that in your mind when it's
this too shall pass.
When it's upside down.
Absolutely. Greg, thank you so much for joining us on the Founders Desk. I hope you guys have enjoyed our conversation. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Greg, G&G, the Goosebumps Company. We'll see you again soon.